This week in the conversation, I have the honor to receive out of Mumbai, India, an old friend, movie producer, filmmaker, Indrani Ray. We're going to be talking about her current projects, and specifically, she's currently working on a new feature film, and we're going to be talking about that. I'm so excited. But before we get into this exciting conversation between Anjani and me, I will ultimately give you, I'm giving you an update on the bittersweet memories of last spring, um, the release of the celebration that was previously set for August 15th. Unfortunately, we're just going to have to push back on the date because of some difficulties regarding the global distribution of the print version of the book. But I can say this, if you can't wait and you want to savor the story, you can always get it on Kindle. You know, you can always get the electronic version. If you go to Amazon, you can have it. As a matter of fact, this one person was already written a wonderful review on the story. So yeah, but I know many of you like me are old-fashioned folks who would be interested in having a good book in your library, just like the one you're looking at. Okay, so the print version will be on paperback trade or on hardback with a dust jacket into it. So it'll be soon, most definitely in September, because I plan on releasing book 2. Because people who are reading our book 1, they want book 2. So book 2 should be delivered also in December. It's a promise that I will do my utmost to fulfill. Yeah, so again, the bittersweet memories of last spring, you can always get it on Kindle if you want to, but you can also wait if you're old-fashioned like me to get either your paperback trade or your hardback with a dust jacket. So to continue, and I just want to remind you, as I always do, it's important to support this channel. And the best way to do so is to subscribe to it. And if you subscribe to this channel, you can always click the notification bell so that way every time a video is posted, I'll go directly into your portable device. So let's get started. Again, my name is Ardain Isma, and I'm here with an old friend and the conversation. I'm here with impressive movie producer, filmmaker, joining me from Mumbai, India, Indrani Ray. If you guys remember last time, we had a blast when she talks about her wonderful project. But also today, we're going to be talking about recent projects she's currently working on. And to get started officially, Indrani, welcome again into the conversation.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me. It's always an honor to talk to you. You know, you just, yeah, it is just like, I enjoy your interviews so much when I hear you talk to other people. So thank you for thinking of me this time. It's wonderful.
Okay, so where are we since the time of Corona was published? So where are we now?
So we are, it has been a bit of a slow crawl because, you know, the world is coming out of the pandemic still, you know, especially in the film business. But currently, in fact, as we speak, I'm kind of prepping for a shoot in North India, in Punjab, for a brand where I'll be shooting with dairy farmers in their on their farms, which is so different from what I'm normally used to. So I'm excited, you know, because you get to know about a different set of people and, you know, their habits, their ways of life, and the simplicity that they have, which we are kind of removed from that simplicity in, you know, in our urban lives. So I'm really excited to go there. We are going there next week. We are setting it up right now. I'm not directing it. I'm the creative think tank behind the campaign, and I'm producing it. So it's been fun, and I'm looking to set up my feature film, which is an ongoing conversation. It's an international project. So that is what's going on right now.
Okay, so you say that you're producing, but you not necessarily. Okay, could you please teach the audience the difference between the two?
Okay, so when you're producing, then you're taking care of the back end of filmmaking, which is so essential, because you cannot have a film without a producer.
Exactly.
Like you cannot have a film without a writer director. But what happens, Dr. Isma, is that the director's job, not even the writer's job, actually, the director's job is a little shiny for the outside world. So the director always, I mean, we know names of big directors. We always don't know names of a lot of producers. They may be really big in their space, but I think with producers, it takes a little more time to build that, because it is largely behind the scene, So you have to build your body of work. Like, for example, Ron Howard, who's a big director producer in Hollywood,
right.
But very few people know that his able partner, Brian Grazier, is his able partner producer, but not a lot of outside regular audiences know of it, because it is a little bit of a behind the scenes job, and that is the nature of the job, actually. So, I like to do both. This is the first time I'm doing this active production. So for me, it is like, while I know the beats of filmmaking, but this time I'm hands-on on the behind the scenes, which is, I think, an interesting experience, for a film worker.
Right.
So yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Okay. So let me ask you something. I've been asking many Indian either writers or intellectuals or movie producers, is that there's always a specific theme and the art that they're presenting to an audience. Either if it could be ecology, or could be feminine issues, or could be social justice. Why is that? Why? Because as a difference in Hollywood, you just mentioned, there could be a big rainbow style kind of, or a fantasy blast. But Indian intellectuals always come up with some specific theme. As you are an intellectual, come on, Indrani, can you please explain to us why is that?
Actually, it's such an interesting question, and I'm a little lost, because that is something to think about. Yes, but I think while people have big franchise movies like Rambo, like the Avengers, like the Marvel universe, which are the big showy projects, but there are those thoughtful little films that happen in independent Hollywood.
Right.
But similarly, actually, in India also, we have this big blockbuster summer movies. I mean, which may end up not doing so well at the box office at times, but you do have that big movie. And side by side, you have I think now, especially because I think people are, with the digital revolution, I think people are taking more risks when it comes to filmmaking. Just now, last week, a very mainstream actor called Alia Bhatt, she's like a really mainstream Bollywood actor, and she just produced and acted in a film on domestic abuse.
Okay.
Which is released on Netflix. In 5 years back, I don't think she would have thought of doing something like that. So people are becoming more advanced. Also, I think doing issue-based films today is also, it's a little cool. In India, it's a little cool to be doing that. Like, oh, you're thinking a person, you're thinking to the society, you are aware. Not all of them are aware, some of them are, but it's also the currency that is very attractive right now. I sound pessimist.
And you know what?
Sorry.
It's the same thing that romance writer from, I think, Eastern India. Her name is Sonia Ray. and she wrote a beautiful piece titled "One Step Closer." She also told me after that project, she was going to focus solely, almost exclusively, on women issues. Because you know what, there's always something.
So I believe in women gender-based issues also, men, women. I believe in that. But my way of approaching it is, you've seen my films. I take a subject and I like to treat it with a lightness. I don't want to make it heavy. So I have my next feature film is a rom-com script. It's a romantic comedy set in New York. But I have a lot of social observations kind of baked into it for people to kind of pick on. But it's a very light-hearted, fun, snappy film, but it has issues about, about marital issues. It has issues about fear, self-preservation. But I like to give it a light flip, because I think life is so hard that, especially after the pandemic, Dr. Isma, I kind of shy away from very grim cinema because I'm like, life is so grim out there. I don't want to spend my time watching something grim because I know that exists. I would rather watch Father of the Bride, I want that. You want that lightness right now. I'm craving light, fun stories right now, post the pandemic, So I think it's something that goes on in your head and you come out of it. I like murder mysteries and crime, but I'm kind of craving light stories. But I like to give my stories always that light touch. But I'm very conscious of taking the female voice forward. Even in the the ads that I'm producing right now, I do have the gender thing woven in, but with a light touch. So I think how you do it, what is your lens? I think that is important. So I don't like to keep it, I don't want to make it an issue which is hard. I want to make it palatable for you to absorb and think about it. I hope I managed to do that.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So Indrani, so what is the title of this new project?
It's called Having a Coke with You, which is from a poem by Frank O'Hara that was written in the 1930s, a poem set in New York. And I thought it was just such a fun line, having a Coke with you. It's a little different, and it kind of sums up the energy of the film. And it is a romantic poem. And I was using the poem in the script, and I said, you know what? It is because it just sticks, having a Coke with you. There's a stickiness to the title. So I hope Coke will not have an issue with me using it. I mean, I'd love to use it, but tomorrow, hey, if Coke says, give us $10 million, otherwise you can't use it, then I'll be quietly thinking of another title for the film. But it is the line from a poem.
Okay, it's always like that when it comes to you, because I know you read a lot. And especially, remember, we talked about Marquez. I know you read a lot.
Thank you. Yes, I do. I love reading.
And I'm pretty sure
yes,
you'll be reading Bittersweet also, right?
Yeah, it is. I just love the name. I think the word bittersweet has such a nice texture to it because everything is bittersweet. The bittersweet memories, everything has that. I think it's kind of an universal emotion. I think I just love the name because of that. Bittersweet Memories of the Last Print. It's just so evocative as a title. And I saw it. I read about it on your timeline on Twitter. And I'm not very frequent on social media right now because I'm working on something. But I saw it and I think I tweeted about it also, and I kind of bookmarked it saying, I have to come back to this. So yes, absolutely, I will.
And you know what? If I may add to this, how many times do we, especially I'm getting old, so we want to go back to our younger years, when life was young, when times seemed endless. And all of a sudden you're looking back. The memories can never be just as sweet or just sour.
No, it is always a mix. Recently I have spent a lot of time in my birth city, which is Calcutta, because my dad has been unwell. And I chose to be home and be there. And this is the least we can do for our parents because our lives are so selfish otherwise. So when your parents need you at a time like this, I'm grateful to whoever has their hand on my head, universe, powers that be, divinity. I'm really grateful that I'm always able to show up in that sense and be present. But this is the first time, Dr. Isma, since the time I have left Calcutta, that I spent so much time in my city. And it was, because, I'm pampered there. I don't have a worry in the world. I say I want this and it just comes to me. And, my relatives, my cousins. And I was like, I miss this.
It was very emotional, huh?
It is, and even life is so easy there, everything is easy, and there's so much love, and it is all unconditional. Love can be only unconditional at home, So I was like, oh, I have never done this before. Like, I always go for like birthdays and anniversaries and celebrations. It's a quick weekend in and out. Now I've been like, I spent a month, then I spent 3 weeks, then I spent another 3 weeks, and now I'll go back again in September. So, it's good to be home, it's good to be in your old room, and it's good to just not worry about anything, not take care of the house. So, it is.
I know.
Lovely. But would I go back? No, I like where I'm at, life has surprised me. Life has surprised me. I have found, filmmaking was never something that I grew up with. It is something that came to me in my kind of, late 20s, early 30s. Right. And so I know, I think I like life. It is textured and it is all kinds of shades, but it is bittersweet all the time. And I love it.
Yeah. So let's go back to the theme also. Domestic issues, domestic violence, I would say, always contain some sort of a social, political undertone into it. Will viewers be able to catch this also in this current movie?
I believe, I'm not in the mood to watch a film like this right now, but it is getting a lot of good reviews. The film is called Darlings, and it is getting a lot of good reviews. They have made it like a dark black comedy, and it is so people are really talking very well of it, which is interesting. I'm happy when people talk well of a film, because there are so few films that we can talk well of in India, so it is. But I'm not in the mood to watch something about domestic violence and abuse right now. So I have not tuned into the film yet, but I plan to watch it, maybe while I'm traveling or something. Right now, when I'm home, in between my work and writing, I like to watch something which doesn't take a lot of me to absorb the story, So right now it's like, okay, just consume quickly. Like I'm more into watching fast food stuff. Like, like I mentioned, HBO has done this Father of the Bride, which was just like, it was cute to watch. You just had your brunch and you're just watching it, and it's like happy, done, out. So, but Darlings, I want to watch it because apparently it's a good film.
Now, Indrani, as a movie producer, how do you see the streaming revolution that we now enjoying? How do you see it as a movie producer?
I think it is fantastic because it gives any creator, be it a producer or a writer or a director or an actor at a certain part of the world, it gives all of us, it takes us to so many homes globally, as opposed to making something your part of the world and not having a larger audience. But having said that, I think somewhere down the line, currently, I think it happens with any product within a life cycle, that you kind of lose sight of the quality. It becomes a numbers game. So it becomes a little bit of McDonald's syndrome, where you're like making stuff. So a lot of stuff that you're making are not that good. Which is why heads keep rolling at certain companies. They keep on trying. And so while it is opening up the doors and windows, a lot of new energy is coming in, and new stories are being told. But I think we need to be, and I'm sure it will settle into that, I think we need to be a little more quality conscious in how and what we are making, and not just kind of just keep churning things blindly. I think that is happening a bit, excepting for a few channels like, Apple TV Plus is very, very conscious of what they make. They're too conscious. I think people need to find a middle path between too conscious. I think HBO does a good job of trying to kind of keep that going. They're a little quality conscious, but otherwise there's a lot of it's a very good thing. I hope it's a very good thing because it just opens out the world. Suddenly you have this whole horizon that is opening up to you. Like, sitting here in Bombay, I'm able to think of an English language film or looking to do more English language work because I predominantly think in English. I'm able to do that because of the digital revolution today.
Right.
Right. So it is. I think it's making the world a more connected place. There's so many things that are good about this, but I think we just need to be a little more cognizant of quality.
So what is the change of independent movie producers? What are the chances they have of being picked up by big name like Universal or HBO you just mentioned?
So it's the thing that, so filmmaking or making anything narrative in the entertainment vertical, I think it is about collaboration, right? You need to team up. I always say, like, the universe is like a Princess Masuma painting where all the suspended dots are waiting to be joined, So I think you need to see, sitting in my corner, if I keep on saying, I'm going to do this, that's not going to happen. We have to connect with the right people who can make it happen. So you team up with the right collaborators who can then get you to the next step. And it's about always getting that first film or the first series made. Once you have made that, and if you make that well, then you become your own person. Then you have the right, and you have got yourself a ticket to walk into a room and say, hey, you know what, I made this and now I want to make this, because then they see me as someone, okay, she's done this, and okay. And then, like, even an agent in LA, for example, say, if I go now, I'm not an exciting proposition for them because they want to see for the next 5 years how much money can they make off of me, because that is their business.
It's true.
Once I make a film, then they're like, hey, okay, she's the right color, because brown women, very color of the season right now. So, they say she's the right color, she has the right sensibility. Oh, I can make so much off of her in the next 5 years. Hey, so I can manage her work and get her more work. So, so that is how it rolls. So you just have to not be idealistic about it. Like when recently I'm looking to, we are, even Tanvi was at one point in time, looking to get some funding, which seed funding for the film. And so when our LA partners, they were like, we should just go out and talk to actors. I said, don't. I said, listen, if we don't have money on the table and we go and talk to an actor, and if they say, okay, hey, okay, the manager or the agent says, we love this script.
Right.
Okay, so tell us. And we don't have the 10% to put down and block the actor for the film.
Okay.
Then you lose a window. And people don't take you seriously. So it needs to be so finely calibrated. While I am in a hurry, but I don't want to take a false step. I want to make sure all the ducks are in a row and then make it, and not be in a rush and botch it up,
Right. Okay. So you know what? It's so interesting what you just said, because last time I had the producers on the show and the screenwriter, Gabrielle Constance, and they were talking about having joint ventures.
That's the only way.
This is something you yourself have done in the past. How do you see like a more and more stronger rapprochement between Indians independent movie producers with Hollywood independent movie producers? How do you see a stronger rapprochement?
I see it actually going well. I see it going well. It will take a little time. Currently it is a little closed in the sense, the door is slightly ajar right now, and the door is only going to get wider because they'll see the efficacy in teaming up with people with fresh voices, because people need content. You have streaming platforms, you need to make stories, you need to get more voices in, and if you bring in something which is, like I have a very singular take on the kind of stories I want to tell, you know. So when I talk to people, see, if I talk to any investor, if I talk to people, and they're like, you are the right kind of person to go there, because you speak the language, you know how things work. You're also a realist, and you're a hardworking person, So you're this weird right left brain combination, and you're a good fit there. But the thing is, to go there, I need to have one project set up. Otherwise, there's no point.
But I also believe
I want to go.
Oh,
no, sorry, tell me.
yeah. I also believe that there's something very important that Indian actors and producers, they have, because they live in a country of more than 1 billion people with a very strong, highly educated middle class. So this is something that a lot of people in Hollywood or any other places in the US or in Europe for that matter would dream of. So I think that will strengthen the hands of independent producers from India. So I believe a collaboration between these two can make a dazzling reality.
Absolutely. And I am really, like, I think the language I speak really works well in that space of, collaborating with someone internationally, because, I got my script evaluated by, readers in LA, when we're thinking that, okay, it should be an English film. So I was like, I need to check my merit. I need to test my merit internationally to see. While sitting here, I may think, people always say you write so well,
Right.
but I need to test. I need to test myself with the white audience too, because if I'm making a global film, I'm not making it only for us. I'm making it for a global audience who will be able to consume the film.
Right.
So I have had the script. The readers, the same company that evaluated scripts, like really scripts that went in for Oscars and, like big projects. The script went there for evaluation, and I was very happy with the evaluation, because they got me, they got the story, and they loved the dialogue. So I was like, okay, so I am good to do something for the global audience. Just now I was speaking with someone in Washington, and he was like, I love your script. So, and he's a white guy. So I said, so I want the white guy to absorb my story and learn something new about our roots and heritage without me rubbing his face in it. I want to make it an integral part of his world gently. Correct. And show them our roots while integrating the story in a larger melting pot. So I don't want to brown wash my film because I'm brown and I want to tell a brown story. Because I want to tell a story of a world where brown and yellow and white and semi and, African Americans and every kind of hyphen, an African, Indian, French person. Like, I want to bring in all the hyphens together and create literally a slice of life depiction of society as it stands, and not put us all in silos. Like, when a brown person does a story for the international market, invariably they'll poke fun at a character who's white. I don't want to do that. Because I don't think that serves a purpose, So I think we need to kind of create integrated worlds where everyone are coexisting with their own singularity or peculiarity, or, all of that, and, and it's a beautiful world, because that world does exist. So, that is what I want to do. That while we all have our strife, while immigration issues are an issue with, South Asians, but there is also a world outside of that. My parents come from that world where they were very well adjusted. So I want to bring that story too, because, good stories also need to be told. We only don't need to tell the stories which are difficult. The difficult stories exist and nobody's denying their existence. But I think, like everything else in life, like sweet and salt in a curry, or, chili and sour in a curry, needs to coexist. I think the good side of the story and the bad side of the story of social stories also need to coexist. That is how you find balance.
And you know
We
what?
can't just say.
I like what you just said. You do not produce for a specific audience, you produce for the world. And that's important.
Absolutely, and tell them good stories, because I think we need to see the good as much as we need to be aware of the hurt, or what one has been through. And there's a lot of hurt that every society or every race has been through in life, one way or the other, and we all feel it. But there's also the good, because we are still here. So, so I'm a bit of a Pollyanna. I like to always kind of look at the flip side and say, hey, let's talk of the good, because that is as important, the experience, so yeah, so and tell people about us. I want to tell stories about our society in a way which is not hard to absorb or consume. I don't want to other us, or I don't want to sing. I want to integrate us, and stay singular at the same time. So I think that is what I managed to get with my script, is what people tell me, that you have put in so much of South Asian, but it doesn't feel hard because it's so easy to consume. My film is packed with South Asian accents. It's packed with South Asian success stories in New York. Like, I'm like bringing it on like really heavy, but I'm keeping it in a way which is like, it just goes. But it's like, we are very cool. Just see this. So yeah, have fun with it. I think, see, that is my space. I'm not judging anyone whose space is not that, but that is my space. That is what I believe in. That I just want to kind of give a lighter flip to the story, so that it can be consumed by a larger audience, and also bring a little smile at the end of it all, while telling a story which has important things being told in it. That is what I try to do. I hope I do it successfully when the film comes out.
So, Indrani, so when can I expect to enjoy once more one of your product, which is the one we're talking about now, the domestic issue?
So the domestic issue that I told you about is a film that has happened now. That is not my film. The domestic abuse. So no, the domestic abuse film is not mine. I don't have a domestic abuse story to work on yet, unless I find something which has like an uplifting thing at the end. The story has to speak to you. Any story that you make, I think it needs to speak to you, because you're going to put in so much effort in the story at the end of the day. You'll be burning midnight oil. You'll be obsessing with the character. So it has to speak to you, So I'm working on this this branded content thing, which is with farmers in India. So there's like little short films with dairy farmers in India, which I'm super excited about, because it's a world that is so different from mine, and I have never been to a world like that. So I'm actually super excited to do that with dairy farmers on their farmland, and just kind of shoot with them. I'm going to go there next week, so I'm super excited. And then the film, I'm hoping to lift it sooner than later, because I'm getting a little antsy, but I also want to stay wise. It's like a hard, fine balance that goes on there. So hopefully soon, it's hopefully soon. Keep me in your prayers. Keep me in your prayers.
Okay.
And and then
yeah. And I want to ask you a couple more questions, because you know what, you and I can always talk forever. Let me ask you one question. So, when you come to present your productions here in the United States, have you ever anticipated of presenting it somewhere in Florida?
I am absolutely, I'm so open to going anywhere. I have no set thing of, I will not go here, I will not go there, I will not. I'm like, anyone, you're up for, like the other day I was talking to a producer in New York, because a friend of mine said, talk to him. You never know. So, had a great conversation with him, because you're building your world. So I'll be happy to explore something, find the right story and make it there. Absolutely. It's beautiful. What's not to like?
There is the very internationally renowned Miami festival, where producers come from across the world, by the way, to present the work.
Yes.
And I would
Yes.
love to see you someday in Tenby and
Thank
all of the
you.
other crew in Miami.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Just keep on giving us that energy to us, Dr. Isma, and we'll be there. Like, really. I think the world is shrinking. I think, great things are coming. Really, I do believe that. And yes, I want to be there for the American film market. I want to be there. And I think once you're in the room, I think it's so important to be in the room to have the conversation, rather than doing a virtual call for, where people are spending big monies. You need to be in the room to give them the confidence that, okay, I think they're good for it. I think that is something you need to get done in person. I don't think that's something you can achieve virtually.
And this current project is not going to be in black and white, just like the time.
No, this will be like beautiful color, very different from Love in the Times of Corona, very different from those 3 films in texture, because they were of a time where life was a little pensive. We were wondering and thinking and we were contemplating. Right. So the mood was different. This is an upbeat New York film, fun and, a little noisy, but elegant. Yes, elegant, of course. But it is set in Manhattan, But yeah, it's very...
And Joanny, that you want to tell the audience. Because, last time we talked, we had quite a few people who commented on it. And
just keep on giving good energy and keep on keeping us in your prayers, and all good things will happen. I think this is, filmmaking is a very patient game, so it is just, if you're really passionate about it, you just need to just stay on your course and not think of when it is going to end. When am I going to do this? I get antsy at times because nobody's getting younger. So, you're like, okay, then I've stopped doing that. I've stopped putting timelines. I'm like, you know what? It'll happen when it's meant to. I just need to keep on doing my work.
Okay.
So keep us in your prayers. And I hope when the film does come out, all of you enjoy it. And I'm sure we'll keep talking in the meantime, Dr. Isma. You've become a friend. I'm so comfortable talking to you, So, but I will definitely be coming your way in the next. I have a wedding in Boston in the summer of 23. And, but I will be coming that way definitely before that.
Okay, beautiful. And that wonderful note, I'm going to say it's been more than a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to have my old friend, Indrani Ray, joining me from India, and the conversation.
Thank you so much, and the pleasure is all mine. It's just wonderful talking to you always. So you keep safe and take care, and we'll talk soon. And thank you once again for having me.